the French election has shaped up to be what many people are considering a replay of the 2016 U.S. presidential election, comparing the centrist neoliberal Macron to Hillary Clinton and the far-right xenophobic Marine Le Pen to Donald Trump. It seems to be shaping up as a referendum on neoliberalism versus fascism, and we'll unpack that accusation or that position in a moment. But just to show you some of the results, Emmanuel Macron got 23.9% of the vote, which was the largest share, rounded up to 24% on your screen. Marine Le Pen got 21.3%, Fillon 20%, Mélenchon 19.6%, and the rest are, you can see, we're not even remotely in the competition. Mélenchon is the far left, more of the socialist candidate, even further left than Bernie Sanders, but he was compared to Bernie Sanders here in the United States. The one thing that stands out about this to me, though, is that as of today, so far today, Mélenchon, depending on who you ask, has not come out to endorse Macron. And he's saying with Macron that he's really having to go back to his supporters, Pat, to figure out who he's going to support. Here's the thing for me. There should be no, excuse my words, there should be no question who you should support, right? Because Marine Le Pen is borderline a Holocaust denier, 100% xenophobic, 100% against plurality, any type of religious plurality, she has demonstrated to be probably the worst. If you look at the triumvirate of Trump, Nigel Farage, and Marine Le Pen, she's probably the worst. So I get opposition to neoliberalism, but we're talking about fascism. So for Mélenchon not to have endorsed him at this point really bothers me.
And I hate to compare this to the American experience, but it's just too tempting. It has a lot to do with the people who were on Bernie's side during the primaries, but were unwilling to back Hillary during the general election. And the result of that ultimately was a man that was far worse than Hillary Clinton becoming president, someone who was far more right-wing.
And here's the logical fallacy of it all, right? So this is going back to the original premise, which is the premise that people are positing, is that this is a referendum between neoliberalism and fascism. And here's where I disagree with that, right? If you take neoliberalism as an economic concept, deregulation, privatization, defunding the entire concept of the public good, if you take that as the economic concept, every single thing that you hate about Hillary Clinton, the same things that you hate about Barack Obama, same things that you hate about Macron in France, every single one of those things is not only present in this version of fascism, it's present in Donald Trump, present in Nigel Farage, present in Marine Le Pen, but it's magnified.
Right.
It's like neoliberalism squared with the added bonus of xenophobia, racism, and ethno-nationalism.
Yeah, and it's hard for a lot of people to suck it up and vote for a candidate whom they have many disagreements with, but ultimately is the lesser of two evils compared to the two. We'd like to think that Macron will be able to run all over Marine Le Pen in this runoff because I think he's polling something like 10 points higher. All the other defeated candidates will probably back him because given the alternative, he's just a much better option. But a lot of us had the same hubris about Hillary Clinton when it came to our own election in the United States.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think Marine Le Pen is going to win, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I just see the writing on the wall, right? It's hard not to recognize the far right-leaning ethno-nationalism, xenophobic movement on the national stage, on the international stage. And so, and then if we are comparing it to the 2016 election, it's the confidence. You said hubris, but definitely hubris and confidence, overconfidence that they got it in the bag. And so if they have that overconfidence there and they have not learned the lesson from Hillary Clinton versus Trump, it's very, very likely that Marine Le Pen will pull this out.
And that would have major consequences because Marine Le Pen becoming president of France would probably mean France pulling out from the European Union. And with France and the UK out of the EU, I think that's the end of the EU there.
Right, which if you look back, if we were to fast forward 50 years and look at any international conflict on the European continent, we would be able to trace the roots of that conflict back to Brexit and Marine Le Pen withdrawing France from the EU, right? Because this is one of the most important facets of the EU has been their ability to keep war off of the European continent since its foundation. So this is why Mélenchon not endorsing Macron at this point is doubly disturbing to me for many reasons.